They called her a monster, a cursed creature with snakes for hair and a gaze that turned men to stone. But what if they got it wrong? What if Medusa wasn't the villain of the story, but the hero? In ancient Greek myth, Medusa is remembered as a Gorgon, feared, hunted, and ultimately slain by the hero Perseus. But peel back the layers of myth, and something strange begins to emerge. This is a story about power, betrayal, and transformation. A reimagined tale of Medusa, not as a beast to be defeated, but as a woman fighting against the gods themselves. Before she was feared, Medusa was beautiful. Not just in the way poets describe women, but in a way that unsettled the divine. She was a priestess of Athena, sworn to chastity, wisdom, and devotion. But her beauty attracted the attention of Poseidon, god of the sea, who violated her in Athena's sacred temple. Instead of defending her, Athena punished Medusa, twisting her hair into serpents and giving her the power to petrify anyone who looked upon her. Cast out, cursed, and feared, Medusa became the perfect scapegoat. But in this version of the story, she doesn't hide, she evolves. Medusa retreats not to hide, but to learn. She masters her power, realizing that it's not a curse, it's a weapon. Her eyes become mirrors, reflecting the true nature of those who gaze upon her with lust, hatred, or greed. She learns to control her gift, turning her gaze only on those who would harm the innocent. She becomes something else, an avenger of the wronged, a guardian of those society has cast out. In hushed tones, she's still called a monster, but among the oppressed, she's seen as a mythic protector, a whisper in the night, a force of justice. But the gods do not like being defied. Word spreads of a hero named Perseus, sent by a king who fears Medusa's growing legend. But behind this quest is a darker motive. The gods want to silence her story, to erase the reminder that their actions have consequences. Perseus, young and brave, ventures to the edge of the world. But in this retelling, when he finds Medusa, he doesn't find a monster. He finds a woman surrounded by statues of soldiers and tyrants, people who came to kill her and failed. They speak, and in that moment, he understands the truth. She is not the threat, the gods are, but the gods watch, and they will not tolerate dissent. In the end, the tale still twists. Perseus is forced to act, not out of heroism, but fear. The gods demand a sacrifice. And so, Medusa falls, beheaded not as a monster, but as a martyr. Her power lives on in her severed head, used by Perseus not for glory, but to challenge the gods themselves. He turns it against the tyrant king, against injustice. Perhaps in the end, even Perseus begins to see. Medusa's story wasn't a warning, it was a revolution. And like all revolutions, the truth was buried, twisted, lost in time. So the next time you hear her name, remember, heroes are not always the ones with shining swords and golden shields. Sometimes, the hero is the one they tried to silence, the one they called a monster because she dared to fight back. If you want to see more reimagined myths, legends, and lost stories, then subscribe to Myth Reimagined. Because every myth has a shadow, and sometimes that shadow is the real story.